Today, Kai and her classmates transferred to a new school because their old school was undergoing renovations due to its age. Some classes had moved a few weeks earlier, and now it was their turn. Unlike her classmates, who felt excited and eager, Kai sensed something strange as she entered the new school's gates. Despite its modern and well-kept appearance, the atmosphere was covered by an invisible thin mist, bringing a cold and eerie feeling. As a girl with a special ability to sense and communicate with spirits, Kai quickly noticed the unusual signs. During the first class, Kai continuously saw dark shadows drifting through the hallways and heard whispers in the wind. The spirits seemed to be trying to communicate with her, but their voices were filled with worry and warnings. Kai tried to remain calm and not let her friends and teachers notice anything unusual, but she knew deep down that something terrible was lurking in the school. After school, Kai quietly separated from her friends and followed the signs left by the spirits. She found a secluded corner of the schoolyard, where a large ancient tree stood, and there she felt a strong spiritual presence. Kai closed her eyes, focusing on her psychic abilities, and waited for the spirit to appear and tell her their story. 2 days earlier, Tan Bin was an ordinary high school student. He wasn't the best student, nor was he a troublemaker. Bin was just a regular student living a typical high school life. But one night, Bin's life changed forever. It was a weekend evening when Bin decided to stay at the new school he had recently transferred to in order to finish an assignment due on Monday. This was a habit he had maintained since attending his old school. He believed that staying alone in a quiet classroom helped him concentrate better. However, being in school at night always felt strange. The vast empty space was eerily quiet, with only the faint light from the street lamps outside streaming through the large windows. He began his assignment at PM, and time passed. The ticking of the clock on the wall echoed in the silent room. Although Ben felt tired, he remained determined to complete his work. Around PM, as he focused on his studies, he suddenly heard a strange noise coming from the hallway. Ben looked up and listened carefully. It sounded like light footsteps, but it was very clear in the stillness of the school. He reassured himself that it might be the security guard doing his rounds and continued his work. But the footsteps didn't stop. They grew louder and closer to his classroom. A chill ran down his spine. Ben stood up and walked to the classroom door. The hallway was pitch black, illuminated only by the faint moonlight. Ben looked around but saw no one. He reassured himself that it was just an echo and returned to his desk. But less than 5 minutes later, the noise echoed again, clearer and nearer this time. The sound disrupted Ben's concentration, so he decided to check again. Ben stepped out of the classroom, walking down the long, empty hallway. The school at night was truly different. The closed classroom doors seemed like dark mouths waiting to open and swallow anyone who approached. The dim light from the hallway lamps only deepened the darkness and mystery. Each of Ben's steps echoed in the cold space, making the already empty hallway seem endlessly long. The large windows with drawn curtains reflected the darkness outside, making the classrooms inside even gloomier. The silent rows of desks now seemed to watch his every move. The night wind whistled through the cracks, sounding like the sighs of lost souls. Ben felt a cold breeze brush against his skin, making him shiver. The musty smell of old paper and rotting wood permeated the air, making him feel suffocated and strange. This school is new. Why does it smell musty? He thought, surprised. Ben looked around, sensing that in the still and eerie darkness, everything seemed alive, ready to tell forgotten stories of the past, and he was like a wanderer lost in a maze of dark secrets. Ben approached the stairs, thinking it was the source of the noise. As he stepped on the first stair, a cold wind blew, making him shiver. He stopped and listened. The footsteps had ceased, replaced by absolute silence, which made Ben uneasy. He decided to return to the classroom and pack up to go home. But as Ben turned around, he felt someone watching him. He turned back but saw nothing but darkness and the empty hallway. Back in the classroom, Ben quickly packed his books and hurried out. As he locked the classroom door, a loud noise echoed from the end of the hallway. Startled, his heart pounded in his chest. He turned and stared at the source of the noise. A white figure flashed by in an instant. Ben gasped, certain he wasn't imagining things. Someone or something was there with him. Frightened, Ben ran towards the school's main gate. But when he reached the gate, it was locked tight. Panicking, Ben tried to open it but to no avail. He turned back, intending to run to the security office for help, but as he stepped inside, he suddenly found himself back in the hallway. Before he could comprehend why the door at the end of the hallway slowly creaked open, echoing in the dark night. Bin stood frozen, unable to move. From behind the door, a figure slowly emerged. It was a male student, his face obscured by shadows. Bin could feel the boy's eyes staring intently at him. The student began to walk towards Bin, each step slow but deliberate. Bin's legs felt nailed to the ground. He couldn't move. As the student came within a few steps of him, Bin heard a whisper echoing through the air. "Please help me." The voice was as cold as ice, sending shivers down Bin's spine. He tried to respond, but his throat felt tight, and no sound came out. The student stopped in front of him, and under the dim hallway light, Bin saw his face clearly. It was pale, with skin as white as wax, lifeless and almost translucent in the faint light. His eyes were hollow, empty, deep like black holes, reflecting no light, only filled with a dark, ominous void. Bin felt dizzy, trying to step back, but his legs wouldn't obey. He knew the student before him wasn't alive, but now his body was paralyzed with fear. He watched helplessly as the boy leaned in and whispered, "Please help me. I can't leave this place." At that moment, other shadows suddenly appeared. They pulled the student back into the darkness, his cries echoing in the eerie silence. Bin couldn't believe what he was seeing. He was a skeptic who didn't believe in the supernatural, but the events unfolding before him shattered his materialistic view. He couldn't take it anymore. He screamed in terror and collapsed to the floor. Bin woke up to daylight streaming through the window. He found himself lying in a bed, with only a doctor by his side. Confused, Bin looked around and realized he was in a hospital. The doctor explained that he had been found unconscious at school that morning, likely due to overexertion, and just needed to rest and recuperate at home. After being discharged, Bin returned home feeling uneasy. His parents were often away on business trips and rarely at home. Even during his hospital stay, they only called to check on him, too busy to visit. Bin was used to this. He didn't mind much. But what troubled Bin now was the mysterious student he encountered at school that night. The frightening memories lingered in his mind, and he confided in others, but no one at home or school believed his story. They dismissed it as a dream caused by stress and exhaustion. Though no one believed what happened that night, Bin was certain it was real. Since then, he always felt something unusual at school, like an unseen presence watching him. This made him anxious. Determined to uncover the truth, Bin couldn't let fear control his life. He started investigating the mysterious student he had seen, convinced that he had once attended the school. He knew this because of the student's uniform, which was old and similar in design to the school's uniform, but had been discontinued years ago. Bin began his investigation at the library, going through old yearbooks. As he turned each page, he was startled to recognize the familiar face of the student he had seen. It was Tranvin Hai, a renowned student who had mysteriously disappeared years ago. The information about Hai stated he was intelligent, but no one knew the details of his disappearance. Bin felt a chill, realizing he had stumbled upon a significant and dangerous mystery. At that moment, someone tapped Bin on the shoulder from behind. Startled, he turned to see a girl. Bin recognized her. She was in a class next to his. She looked at him intently and asked, "Are you the one who encountered a ghost at school late at night?" Surprised, Bin didn't have time to answer before she continued. "I'm Kai. I've also experienced strange things at this school. We need to talk. I think we can help each other uncover the truth about Tranvin Hai and the mysterious occurrences here." Bin, puzzled, asked Kai, "How do you know about Tranvin Hai?" Kai smiled slightly and explained, "I've been investigating the paranormal activities at the school for a long time. Tranvin Hai is one of the biggest mysteries. I found records about him in the library, and the stories led me here." Bin was astonished and excited, realizing he wasn't alone in his quest. He nodded, agreeing, "We need to shed light on this. Let's work together." Sharing a common goal, Bin and Kai quickly became friends. During their investigation, they discovered that Hai's desk and locker were still kept in the old school storeroom since his mysterious disappearance had left the police with no leads. One afternoon, after the students had left, Bin and Kai decided to sneak into the storeroom to find more information. The old storeroom, with its damp air and musty smell, gave them the chills. The weak beams from their flashlights made the atmosphere even more eerie. After some searching, They discovered Hai's desk and locker covered in thick dust. Kai opened the locker and found some old books, pens, and a small diary. Bin flipped through the diary and saw that the first pages recorded Hai's daily thoughts and events. But the last pages of the diary contained tense notes about Hai sensing the presence of spirits and strange phenomena in the school. The writing in the old diary gave Bin and Kai chills. Last night, I heard footsteps in the hallway. When I stepped out, I saw figures standing at the end of the hallway, their faces obscured by darkness. I tried to approach, but they vanished before my eyes. I don't know who they are, but I feel something very dangerous is lurking in the school. Bin and Kai decided to stay at school overnight to uncover the truth. They prepared flashlights, a camera, and phones to record anything strange. That night, they secretly stayed in a classroom, waiting for darkness to envelop the school. Bin glanced at the girl beside him, feeling a bit elated as he had always noticed her. In the dim light of the flashlight, Kai appeared brave and determined, qualities he admired. Her determination and calmness in the face of danger only deepened his impression of her. Bin sensed the strength in Kai's eyes, which made him feel more confident and secure. This incident confirmed to him that Kai was special and admirable. At midnight, they began hearing strange noises from the hallway, faint but distinct footsteps. They turned on the camera and stepped outside. The hallway was pitch dark, with only dim light from the bulbs. The footsteps grew closer, and they felt a chill down their spines. Suddenly, figures glided past them. Bin and Kai were startled, their hearts pounding with excitement. They tried to follow the figures, but they disappeared mysteriously. Losing track, they returned to the classroom when a loud noise suddenly echoed from the end of the hallway. Bin and Kai turned, staring towards the source of the sound. A classroom door slowly opened with a creak in the darkness. From behind the door, a figure gradually appeared. It was a male student, his face hidden in the shadows. Bin recognized him as Hai, the boy he had met the previous night. Hai moved towards them, gliding quickly through the darkness. When he was only a few steps away, they heard his cold, icy voice. "Please help me. I don't have much time," Hai said, his face still pale as before. Kai let out a small gasp, her voice trembling. "What do you need us to do? Why is your spirit wandering in the school?" Hai spoke, his voice urgent and shaky. "Mr. Tren knows the truth about this school. He knows how to free me. Find him before it's too late. I don't have much time. They will come and take me away again." Bin and Kai looked at each other with determined eyes. They understood that this was their last chance to help Hai and solve the school's mysteries. Bin spoke, his voice firm. "We will find Mr. Tran. Rest assured, we will come back." Hai nodded, about to speak, but dark shadows suddenly appeared around him. Hai looked terrified as the shadows pulled him into the darkness, and he vanished as if he had never been there. Bin and Kai, scared, hurried out of the school. After meeting Hai, they knew they couldn't stop. What they had just experienced was deeply etched in their minds, but it also motivated them to uncover the truth. They returned home and decided to find information about Mr. Tran and help Hai. In the following days, they spent time gathering more information from teachers and friends at school. Through conversations with longtime teachers, they found Mr. Tran's address. The next afternoon, Bin and Kai visited Mr. Tran's house. The old teacher, though aged, still had bright and wise eyes. Hearing their story, Mr. Tran nodded slowly. Back then, this school was not just a peaceful place for studying. Strange events happened. Some students and teachers reported seeing figures and hearing strange noises at night. Especially in 1972, when a student named Tran Van Hai disappeared. The police have never found Hai, and the case gradually faded from memory. Mr. Tran paused, seemingly recalling old memories, then continued. But there is something few people know. Before he disappeared, Hai mentioned experiencing strange things in the school. He was curious and discovered that the school was built on the site of an ancient village abandoned over 100 years ago. There are rumors that the village was cursed after a devastating plague, causing most villagers to die or mysteriously disappear. Hai believed there was a connection between the strange events at school and the old village. He thought the spirits of the villagers still lingered around the school. Mr. Tran looked at Bin and Kai with serious eyes, then slowly said, "To help Hai, you need to find a feng shui item or talisman that has sealed his soul in the school. I have tried many times but failed. Only those who can see and communicate with spirits can do this." Bin and Kai looked at each other, feeling the heavy responsibility on their shoulders. Kai asked, her voice still trembling, "Teacher, Where do we start? Mr. Tran sighed, but his eyes sparkled with hope. Returned to the school and searched the places where high spirit frequently appeared. Listen to what the spirits say. They might give you clues about where the feng shui item or talisman is hidden. Don't forget to take this ancient book. It contains essential knowledge about identifying and breaking the seals. Bin and Kai took the book from Mr. Tran, feeling the antiquity and power emanating from its old pages. They knew the upcoming journey would be full of dangers and challenges, but with determination and courage, they were ready to face anything. That night, Bin and Kai returned to the school, where the dim lights and gloomy atmosphere created an eerie feeling. They carefully explored every corner, listening for sounds and sensing the presence of spirits. In the darkness, they hoped to find clues to free Hai and bring peace to the school. At midnight, they began their search. The school's hallways were pitch black, with only their footsteps echoing in the silent space. Following the instructions from the ancient book they received from Mr. Tran, Bin and Kai discovered that the storage room where they found Hai's diary emitted a strange, ominous aura. Sensing something unusual, they quickly went to the storage room to check. As they entered the storage room, their flashlights illuminated old items and cobwebs. Kai felt a shiver down her spine when she saw an old wooden chest hidden in the corner. Bin carefully approached, reading the ancient symbols carved on the chest's lid and realizing they matched the description in the book. "This is it," Bin whispered, his hands trembling as he touched the chest's lid. Kai stood beside him, her eyes tensely watching Bin's every move. "Be careful," she said, her voice filled with concern. Bin nodded, focusing on the intricate symbols and patterns. He began examining the lock mechanisms, hoping to find a way to open it without triggering any danger. Kai touched the surface of the wooden chest, feeling its coldness and age. She suddenly remembered the instructions in the ancient book. The person who wants to open the chest must touch the symbols on the chest in a specific order. Her eyes lit up, and she quickly told Bin. Bin tried touching the symbols on the chest in the order shown in the book. Kai pointed to the symbols and guided Bin to touch them in the correct sequence they had read from the book. Bin followed, his fingers carefully tracing the symbols. As each symbol was touched, the chest began to lightly shake and emit creaking sounds as if waking from a long sleep. "It's opening," Bin said, his eyes shining. Kai held her breath, her flashlight illuminating the chest, creating a dramatic scene. Finally, with a small creak, the lid of the chest slowly opened, revealing an ancient cracked mirror and a sealing talisman inside. Bin and Kai looked at each other, feeling a cold aura rising from the chest, knowing they had taken a step further in their journey to free High Spirit. When the chest was opened, the ominous aura immediately intensified, making the space feel stifling. Kai muttered, "Here it is, the thing that sealed High Spirit." Bin nodded, sensing the power from the talisman and the mirror. They knew the next step was to break the seal and needed to act quickly before being discovered by the dark forces guarding this place. According to the ancient book's instructions, Bin and Kai realized they needed to find the exact spot where the seal was created to break it. The special characteristic of the breaking spot was that it would be close to the spirit sealing item. As they got closer, the item would glow or vibrate intensely as a strong sign. Therefore, the person who created the seal would have hidden the breaking spot to ensure secrecy and safety. Bin and Kai knew this would be a tough challenge, but they were determined to find that spot to free High Spirit. Bin and Kai began checking every hidden corner, their flashlights shining everywhere. Suddenly, Kai exclaimed, "Bin, look at this!" She pointed to a corner of the wall, where a small door was hidden behind an old cloth. Bin pulled the cloth away, revealing an old wooden door, locked tight. After some searching, they found the key in a small box nearby. Bin inserted the key, and the door slowly opened, revealing stairs leading down. Bin and Kai felt nervous, their hearts pounding, but they were determined to go down. The stairs led them to a dark, cold, and damp room. Bin turned on his flashlight, and they saw old stone walls, like remnants of the ancient village. The room contained old wooden tables and some long abandoned items. At this moment, the mirror from the chest they had found began to shake violently. Bin and Kai were overjoyed, knowing they had found the breaking spot and were close to freeing High Spirit. Bin and Kai looked at the ancient book. It said that to release a sealed spirit, they needed to break the mirror and burn the talisman. This was a clear and crucial instruction, the decisive step to freeing High Spirits and bringing peace to the school. Bin and Kai were ready to act immediately to ensure success and avoid any further complications. But as Bin and Kai started to follow the instructions from the ancient book, ghosts suddenly appeared, stopping them from proceeding. Kai realized the importance of completing the task and bravely suggested that Bin continue while she dealt with the other spirits. Holding the ancient book, Kai moved closer to the shadows, ready to fight to protect Bin. Bin felt his heart pound as he saw Kai bravely standing before the ghosts. He couldn't help but worry for her safety, but at the same time, he felt immense admiration and respect. Kai's determined eyes and steadfast posture made him realize she was a wonderful and trustworthy companion. Seeing the spirits retreat in fear of the ancient book, Bin quickly shattered the mirror. At that moment, he was so focused that he didn't notice Kai's eyes gradually darkening and a sinister, triumphant smile forming on her lips. As Bin was about to burn the talisman, he suddenly heard a shout telling him to stop. He turned to see a girl running towards him, her eyes sparkling with light but filled with worry and fear. Her sudden appearance made Bin hesitate. His eyes filled with suspicion, but he felt a strange sensation inside. This girl looked exactly like Kai. Standing before him, they resembled each other like twins. The girl reached Bin's side, looking up at Kai holding the ancient book with a stunned expression. She muttered, "Just as the spirits told me, this girl looks exactly like me." The girl turned to Bin, her words sending chills down his spine. "You've been deceived," the girl said to Bin. "The Kai standing in front of you is an imposter. I'm the real Kai. Kai and the fake Kai never existed. They are traps set by an evil spirit to trick you into breaking the seal for it." Kai, holding the ancient book, quickly refuted the newcomer's words. "Don't listen to her, Bin. Don't you remember our goal? Quickly burn the talisman and free Kai's innocent spirit." The newcomer's words left Bin feeling dizzy, but he still trusted the Kai with the ancient book, the one who had been his companion these past few days. He countered the new Kai's words. "What are you talking about? Are you delusional? Kai and I are helping to break the evil seal to let Kai's spirit be at peace and bring tranquility to the school." Seeing that Bin didn't believe her, the new Kai became anxious. She glanced at the shattered mirror pieces on the ground and suddenly had an idea. She quickly said, "If you don't believe me, look at the ground." Bin immediately looked at the pieces of the mirror he had just shattered and was stunned by the reflection of the Kai holding the ancient book. In the mirror fragments, the true form of the fake Kai was revealed, exuding a demonic essence. Her eyes, dark and empty, reflected the soul's darkness. The fake Kai's pale face and blood-red lips looked terrifying. The reflection showed the fake Kai as a horrifying and menacing female demon, filled with malice and dark power, like the malevolent aura surrounding her. The sight left Bin's heart in turmoil. He was deeply confused by the strange transformation of his companion. A sense of fear surged within him, realizing he was facing an unexpected threat from within, and he needed to act quickly to protect himself. Seeing she could no longer hide her true form, the fake Kai laughed coldly and vanished, revealing the shape of an evil spirit. Its eyes glowed a cold blue, like a curse of darkness. The spirit's form combined terror and power, shadow and mystery, evoking immense fear in those around. The evil spirit, enraged at being exposed, attacked Bin and Kai with dark, terrifying power. In a moment of extreme danger, Kai's psychic ability erupted. She used the strength within her soul to repel the evil spirit, creating a powerful, pure light from within. However, the spirit, having existed for many years, had an unpredictable strength. The evil spirit fought back fiercely, unleashing a wave of dark energy that filled the room, making the space oppressive and frightening. Despite her best efforts, Kai felt exhausted and overwhelmed by the spirit's immense power. Seeing Kai in danger, Bin rushed to her aid. The evil spirit, seeing Bin approaching, immediately switched to attacking him with a wave of dark, vengeful power. It was furious that Bin hadn't burned the talisman to complete the seal breaking. The spirit's power enveloped Bin, making him feel extreme fear and pain. Despite her exhaustion, Kai concentrated her remaining energy to create a shield protecting Bin, simultaneously guiding him on how to repel the evil spirit. Feeling protected and fighting alongside Kai made Bin realize he wasn't alone in this battle. Kai's friendship and bravery became a powerful motivator, helping him overcome his fear and focus on confronting the evil spirit. At that moment, Bin understood that Kai's presence was not only encouraging but also crucial to overcoming this terrifying challenge. Bin and Kai coordinated their efforts, determined to confront the evil spirit. Bin held the talisman while Kai quickly picked up the broken mirror pieces nearby. They swiftly brought these sealing items towards the evil spirit. Seeing the sealing items, the spirit, already weakened by Kai's powers, screamed in fear and retreated into the shadows. Taking advantage of the spirit's weakened state, Kai and Bin quickly collected the broken mirror pieces and the talisman, placing them into the chest and closing the lid. As soon as the chest was sealed, the evil spirit let out a terrifying scream and disappeared. leaving a deep impression of its malevolence and threat. Bin and Kai breathed a sigh of relief, realizing they had overcome a dreadful challenge. But just then, a cold aura rose from the ground, and from the shadows, faint figures began to appear. They were the spirits of the ancient villagers, with pale faces and lifeless eyes. Bin, terrified, was about to pull Kai away and run, but Kai grabbed his hand and told him not to be afraid. Bin was surprised, but as the spirits drew closer, they didn't seem threatening. He breathed a sigh of relief. The villagers' spirits seemed to want to communicate something. One spirit approached Bin and Kai and spoke softly. "We're trapped here because of the curse of that evil spirit," the villagers' spirit said, its voice as gentle as a whisper in the wind. "But you have helped us find release. Thank you." Bin felt relieved but still had a question. "Why were you all wandering in the school? What happened to the ancient village?" The spirits explained that a century ago, the village was devastated by a terrible plague. The survivors believed they were cursed and asked a sorcerer to perform a ritual to protect the village. However, the greedy sorcerer used the ritual to summon an evil spirit from the shadows, asking it to grant him and his family wealth and power in exchange for the villagers' souls. The evil spirit, being very greedy, killed the sorcerer and took his soul along with the villagers. Because of its cruelty, a monk with great magical power came and sealed it in this chest. But in the battle, the monk exhausted himself and passed away, unable to help the villagers' spirits find peace. Thus, they still wandered here. When the school and park were built on the site of the old village, the villagers' spirit continued. During construction, the chest fell and the mirror inside cracked, allowing the evil spirit to escape. However, it could only partially manifest because the talisman still existed. The evil spirit wanted to fully escape and needed more souls, so it continuously caused mysterious phenomena and deceived you. The spirit looked at Bin and said, "If you had burned the talisman earlier, the situation would have been dire." "But why did the evil spirit turn into me to deceive him?" Kai asked. It had never seen me before. Hearing this, the villager's spirit spoke again. "Of course, it had seen you," the spirit said, looking at Bin. By looking into this boy's mind, it saw the person he paid special attention to, the one deeply imprinted in his mind. As the spirit finished speaking, Kai understood. The fake Kai, created by the evil spirit, was based on Bin's impressions and feelings towards her. She turned to see Bin's embarrassed face and noticed his ears turning red. The awkward moment was broken by the spirit's farewell. "But now, thanks to you, especially this young girl, we can finally be free." The spirits began to fade away, bit by bit into the air. When the last spirit disappeared, the atmosphere around them became warmer and more peaceful. Bin and Kai looked at each other, feeling as if a great burden had been lifted. Bin and Kai decided to bury the chest under the old tree behind the schoolyard, a place rarely visited. With the light from their flashlight, they left the storage room, carrying the old chest with the mirror and the sealing talisman inside. Late at night, in the stillness, only the rustling of leaves and their soft footsteps could be heard. Reaching the old tree, Bin and Kai stopped. The huge tree, with roots protruding from the ground like giant hands, created an eerie atmosphere. Bin began to dig a hole, sweat dripping from his forehead despite the cold night. Kai stood by, helping Bin while keeping a wary eye on their surroundings, ready to respond to any unexpected events. When the hole was deep enough, Bin carefully placed the chest inside. Kai gently touched the lid one last time, feeling the coldness and power within. "I hope this will keep the school safe, and the chest will remain here with the evil spirit forever," she said, her voice pensive. Bin nodded and began to cover the chest with soil, hiding it under the thick earth. Once the task was completed, they stood silently, looking at the old tree, feeling the heavy burden lifted. "We did it," Bin said, a light smile of relief on his face. Kai nodded, feeling a light breeze, as if a thank you from the freed spirits. They returned to their classroom, feeling lighter and hoping that the school would no longer be haunted by its dark past. On the way back, Kai explained to Bin that she had just transferred to the school and noticed something was off. The gloomy atmosphere and wandering shadows made her anxious, prompting her to communicate with the spirits. Through talking with the spirits under the old tree earlier, Kai discovered that the storage room was surrounded by dark energy, which led her to run there. At this point, Bin felt a bit weak. According to Kai, for the past 2 days, He had been in the storage room, and his investigations with the fake Kai and encounters with Hai and Mr. Tran were illusions created by the evil spirit. 2 days without food made Bin want to leave and find something to eat immediately. The two left the school, filled with joy. As dawn broke, everything returned to normal. The mysterious phenomena disappeared, and no one at school had to endure terrifying nights anymore. From that point on, Bin and Kai became close friends. They had shared a mysterious adventure and freed the trapped spirits. More importantly, they learned that courageously facing fears and uncovering the truth were the most important things.